dear students and friends. Today I will be discussing the most important questions of the last lesson, the first chapter of HS second year English Flamingo. So let's start. Question number 1. What was French expected to be prepared with for school that day? That question was set in 2015 final exam. Most important question. Answer. French was expected to be prepared with participles that day for school, as Mr. M. Hamel had said that he would question them on participles. Question number 2. What did French notice that was unusual about the school that day? Or describe the unusual things that French noticed on the day of the last lesson. That question was set in 2013 in HS final examination. Answer. That day little French noticed many unusual things about the school. Usually in the beginning of the school there used to be a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. However, it was all quiet that day as if it was a Sunday morning. There was no opening and closing desks, sound of desks. There was no melody of unison. French through the window saw his classmates already in their places. The teacher's great iron ruler was also unusually put under Mr. M. Hamel's arm instead of wrapping it on the table. Question number 3. What had been put up on the bulletin board? HS 2014. That question was set. Answer. French had a negative view or thinking about the bulletin board, as for the last 2 years only bad news had come from it. That day was no exception, as Germans had put up an order passed from Berlin on the bulletin board to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine from the next very day. What changes did the order from Berlin cause in school that day? The order from Berlin caused main changes in the school that day. The entire school seemed strange and solemn. The old villagers were sitting on the back benches of the classroom quietly to thank Mr. M. Hamel for his 40 years of faithful service and for showing their respect for the country. M. Hamel also had put on his best dress on that day, though it was not an inspection or prize day. The order from Berlin also brought a sense of repentance for those who, in spite of having time, did not learn the French properly. Question number 5. How did French's feeling about Mr. M. Hamel and school change? Earlier, French did not like Mr. M. Hamel much because of his ruler and cranky nature, and he would feel fear from him. But now all those feelings were entirely changed for M. Hamel. The messages conveyed by M. Hamel about the order from Berlin was a thunderclap for little French. He immediately felt sorry for not being sincere in the school and for not learning the French language and